Thank you, Mr. President. Would Senator Thompson yield to question, please?
Thompson, would you yield for a question from Senator Saland? Senator Thompson?
Yes.
You may proceed, Senator Saland.
Thank you, Senator Thompson. Senator Thompson, in your bill, you talk in terms of a person, and I'm sure that a person is expanded by definition to include more than a mere individual. Am I correct?
Can you repeat your question? I didn't quite.
Your bill on line 6 refers to a person instituting a proceeding.
Yes.
Routinely, and we can take a look at the Environmental Conservation Law, person is generally defined as not merely an individual, but a corporate entity and a host of others that, for purposes of brevity, are included under the term person. And I assume that is the case here, is it not?
Yes, that would be correct.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you, Senator
On the
Saland.
bill?
Senator Saland on the bill.
Mr. President, I believe on at least one and perhaps more occasions I have said that government doesn't have the ability, whether it be national government or state government, to control the economy. If we did, regardless of which party was in power, Republican or Democrat, the economy would never go south because nobody on their watch would want the economy to be bad. But the reality is government is limited at what it can do. It can incentivize through means of legislation and regulation, or it can impede economic development. In this case, this is not merely impeding. This is almost like putting up a stone wall. The reality is that any entity, for example, let's assume that there's an organization or an individual with deep pockets in Manhattan who doesn't particularly like the idea of some project that may be occurring in central New York, in western New York, in the Adirondacks or the Hudson Valley. They now have standing, despite the fact, under this proposal, that they don't live within 100 miles of the project and have absolutely no bearing whatsoever on the community other than their ability to interfere in the actions of the community. What this bill does, it says that if you are competing with somebody for a contract to do some sort of development, whether it be waterfront development, whether it be residential development, whether it be commercial development, if in fact you're not happy with the results, you, as a private enterprise, have now been given the opportunity to prevent that project from going forward by just grinding it out. And people with deep pockets who have particular missions in life have the ability to grind out their opposition. We are living through some extraordinarily difficult financial times. We are sending signal after signal that New York is closing down for business, whether it be tax increases, whether it be regulations, whether it be excessive spending. And now what we want to say is anybody in any community, regardless of the fact that they have absolutely no nexus whatsoever, and despite the Pine Bush decision that says there are a class of people, apparently, under the Court of Appeals decision, who do have greater standing than the general public, even if they're not part of the general public, we are saying here that anybody, any Tom, Dick, and Harry, any organization that is so inclined has the ability to prevent development or delay it long enough so that it becomes financially imprudent to go any further. Now, I live in the Hudson Valley. It's a wonderful part of the state. It's a wonderful part of the world. We've had the good fortune to have some riverfront development in one of the cities in the Hudson Valley, and there's some other in another city in my district. And I'm talking about the city of Poughkeepsie, I'm talking about the city of Beacon. Many of the Hudson Valley communities look to the riverfront as a means by which to revitalize their communities, to improve their quality of life, to bring on economic development. I have no doubt whatsoever that these projects would have been either blackmailed, extorted, or simply held up if there were people who had the ability that Senator Thompson proposes to give them under this bill. We're really saying that New York doesn't give a damn about economic development. This is yet another instance of our spitting in the face of those who might otherwise be willing to spend money to create jobs here and develop economically here in New York. Thank you, Mr. President.